You're tuned into Mom E Moments podcast, where motherhood, business, and relationship is one. I'm your host, Elisa. Thanks for tuning into Mom E Moments podcast. All right. Hey, everyone. You're back with Mom E Moments podcast, and we are kicking off Women's History Month and Mom E Moments. We are doing a celebration of Black women in our community. So women who are making strides, breaking barriers, just being the bomb women that they can be in their business and motherhood, just the whole nine. So we are definitely celebrating everything women, but of course everything Black. So today I have a special guest. So I actually went to high school with her, and just watching her through social media in the community, she is definitely making strides in Baltimore and the surrounding counties. I'm going to just say all over Maryland. So, Miss Alonna, can you introduce who you are and what you currently are doing? And you are a new mom as well.
I am, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hi everyone. My name is Alonna Davis. I am a new mom. I have you know what? She's 20 months. She'll be 20 months this month. I kind of can't keep track. You know, after they turn one, it's like, it's hard to keep track of how many months they are. But so basically she'll be 2 soon. So yes, I am a new mom. I am still trying to figure out this thing called motherhood, while also, you know, continuing to excel in my career and just trying to be a good person. That's my new thing. I'm just trying to be the best version of me that I can be.
Mhm. Yeah. So I was about to ask, are you that mom that's going to count months? Like, how is your child? 32 months. Are you the mom?
You know, it's so funny because when people ask me how old she is now, I always say the number of months. And some people are like, oh, okay. And then some people are like, really, just say she's 1. But it's funny because before I had her, I read something that said you should always say the number of months when, you know, they're less than 2 years old, because, you know, a 1-year-old that is just 12 months is different from a 1-year-old that's 18 months. And so they were saying, say it again.
No, I was agreeing.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, you know, you could say my child is 1 and somebody might be looking like, well, why aren't they talking yet? Or, you know, why aren't they walking? So I'm specifying how many months she is up until she turns 2 in July.
Okay. Yes, I don't think I was never that mom, but I get it, because the 12-month-old and the 18 or 16-month-old it is a difference. But after they turn 1, I'm like, oh, he's 1. They like, oh, okay. But I had people to say, well, how many months is that? And I'm literally counting on my fingers like, oh, 16 months. But, no. Okay, so can you give us some background about your business? What is that you do?
So I am a licensed realtor in the state of Maryland. I've been licensed for about 5.5 years now, and I'm currently pursuing my broker's license. And I'll explain more about that. But in the past year, I partnered with another realtor who started as my mentor, and we opened our own brokerage together. In the height of the pandemic. So we were supposed to open April of 2020, but, you know, that's when everything was first starting to really shut down. So we officially opened July 2020. And we are a women-owned, Black-owned small business located in Baltimore County, more specifically the Mount Washington neighborhood. And it's been an amazing experience, just, you know, being able to see how being a first-time business owner and doing it during a pandemic, being a woman, being Black, and a new mom, it's just been the best experience ever. Challenging, but very rewarding.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, all women working in real estate business together. I love that. Yes, that's how. It's funny. With my business, Diamonds on the Rise, youth nonprofit mental health agency, we, well, not no more, but I do have male staff, But initially we were all women. And it's funny because being a CEO of this organization, we get a lot of male consumers in our program, youth male consumers. And I'm just like, why do we always have so many boys than girls? But I guess some parents just want that motherly figure around their kids sometimes. But I'm here for that. So how would you describe yourself first as a woman and then as a mom?
You know, I go back and forth on this type of question. I was thinking about this. I think I'm very regimented as a person and as a mom. As much as I would like to say that I'm a spontaneous person, that's a complete lie. I'm trying to become that type of person. I'm trying to relax a little bit more. But as I get older, and especially now after becoming a mom, I'm just seeing how, and for lack of better words, I'm turning into my grandmother. I'm very, very regimented. I need like a very strict schedule. I don't like things to go wrong. You know, I know that things, happen, but I would prefer for everything to just be very, to the point, to the schedule, and go as planned. And trying to actually break out of that, especially now in this pandemic, we just really have to adapt to change. We have to be able to adapt to change really quickly. And then also with having a 1-year-old, it's just like, nothing that you say you're going to do for the day actually turns out the way you want it to. So I'm just trying to really adapt to that and just trying to be the best version of myself for me and especially for my daughter, because I don't want her to grow up and be the same person where it's like, oh no, like we got to stick to the schedule. We can't deviate. So I'm that type of person. I'm learning to accept that, but I'm also trying to move away from that at the same time. It's been a blessing and a curse. A blessing because it keeps me very focused and on task and I can get things done. I'm very productive, but things don't go as planned. I kind of get like anxiety.
Yeah, so, I think for me, I'm definitely a planner. My husband is not, and he's like, we'll deal with it later. And I'm like, no, we need to figure this out now. I need to know what's going on. Being a boy mom, one day I'll get my girl. One day, they definitely keep me on my toes. And with boys is no. Well, I'll say this. We are a little structured with our boys. One, because during this whole pandemic, my kid, the oldest one, plays baseball, and baseball team said pandemic wear type thing. So I'm like, okay, we had a little break, but we have to do scheduling for that. Then school, definitely have to be on a schedule for school. So I'm very surprised that everyone is kind of being quiet right now. But typically, my kids are with me. We are up. I'm at my office before 8 o'clock, put them on school, trying to not pull my hair out, scream at them. Yesterday, my son, was it yesterday? So, my days are running together. This morning, I'm on a meeting call, and I said, get on class. He said, oh, my teacher kicked me out of class. No, she didn't. And he's in pre-K. No, she didn't. She didn't kick you out of class. I'm sure the internet just jumped. Like, go get this. Come September, my kids going back to school. I just can't. Like, I can't do it.
It's funny. This pandemic is just it's really changed everyone's lives, and I know we all say that, but it's like no joke has changed all of our lives. And I appreciated teachers and daycare workers and everything before, but now it's like no, that needs to be one of the highest paid professions. Because those first few months of the pandemic last year, I had originally planned to take my first year off from work. I would take long maternity leave. And then after a while, I was like, okay, nope, she's about 6 months. I'm ready to get back to work. I feel like I can stand daycare now. And then, boom, here comes the pandemic. So I did stay for almost a year with her. But it was the most excruciating, like, I don't even really know how to explain it. It was the worst thing ever. I can never be a stay-at-home mom. More power to everyone that does it. It's like, one of the hardest jobs in the world, but I can't do it. I cannot.
Yeah. It's funny because my husband this morning, he was like, are you really going to, because every week I threaten him. I say, you know what, I'm running away. I'm going to the hotel and I'm leaving. So I guess recently he probably was like, yo, she's really about to leave. So he's like, are you really going? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, I said, why? He said, I'm making plans, but if you really going to go, that's fine. So I was like, oh, maybe I should go. Then I'm like, dang, I got to pay for a hotel room. Then I'm going to eat out. Then I'm going to do this. And then do I really want to do that, or do I just want to take a couple hours and just go treat myself and then come back and I can send my kids to my mother's house or something? So I'm like trying to figure it out, and my friend's like, go to the hotel. And he's like, you're not going to wind up by yourself. Somebody's going to come there with you because you don't want to be alone, which is true because sometimes I'm like, I just need a friend, like, just to be in my presence. But it really, this pandemic, prior to the pandemic, I've always been blessed to bring my kids to work with me by working for myself. However, not all day. So that's from waking them up in the morning here at the office. Then we going home. Then y'all wanna ask for food again. So I definitely need that break. So that brings me into my next question. So you kind of talked about the pandemic and how it shaped you, but how do you actually balance, like, just being a mom and then being an entrepreneur, being a real estate agent, and having to, work around your client schedules as well, seeing homes, etc.?
Right now, there's really no rhyme to my reason. I actually met with someone last week, and they were asking me, one of the agents in my office, they were like, how are you getting so much business? How are you so productive? What's the trick? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I'm just going, like, nonstop, almost like the Energizer Bunny. There are times where I'm feeling exhausted, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cancel all of my appointments today, and I'm just going to go in the house and take a nap for the rest of the afternoon until it's time for me to pick my daughter up. But then I'm like, you know what? No, I'll just push through and go to sleep tonight and try to, rest then. So I'm just constantly talking myself. It's all about my mentality, really. Like, my mindset just had to change, and I'm just constantly talking myself into just get it done, just keep going, because, luckily, and thank God, during this pandemic, I've been more successful in my career than I was prior to. And that isn't for everyone. So I definitely, acknowledge that I'm very blessed for that. And I don't want to take advantage of it or lose the momentum. So I'm at this point where I'm just like, what is sleep? I don't know what that is. So I can't even honestly say that I'm successfully balancing being a mom and an entrepreneur. I'm consistently telling myself, just keep going, because the reward and what I imagined, my life being like once I had a child, and, I waited so long. Like, I always was like, nope, I'm not doing this until I'm married, and, I want to be in my 30s, because I had this plan in my mind. Like, I want to be able to do certain things with my child. Not that I would not have been able to do it in my 20s, but that was just my plan. And so now, like, I look back at things and I'm like, okay, well, I'm able to put my daughter in the school that I wanted to put her in, and not have to worry about being able to pay for it, because I'm putting the work that I need to put in with my career. And I can, at this point, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's go on this vacation. Let's buy that. I don't have to worry about things like that, like how it was when I was working a 9 to 5. And I was like, okay, we can't go out to eat today because, gotta pay.
It's funny. I was just talking to my friend literally 20 minutes ago, my best friend Sierra, you know who Sierra is. And I was just like, how am I getting all of this done? I know my husband is annoyed with me because we had some plans, and he's like, oh, these Aquarius. He's just so nonchalant. I know he probably like every podcast you talk about how nonchalant he is. He's so nonchalant. He's so like, we'll get it done. And I was like, yo, men get on my nerves. I had this plan. I can see it. I can map it out. Let's do it. And she was like, well, you should be blessed because, men need us, and you are this go-getter. I'm just like, sometimes I just want to sit back and be like,
all right, y'all take the lead. But once you start moving like a snail, just a little bit, no, I'll do it. I'll make sure it's handled. What y'all need?
I'm the same way. And my husband is the same way. I have those moments all the time where it's like, I just don't want to be responsible today. I don't want to be an adult. You know, I just don't want to have to worry about anything. I don't want to have to answer the phone. I don't want to have to feed the kids. Like, I don't want to do any of it. But at the same time, it's like kind of hard to let go of that. And, you know, we still kind of got to be in control. And like to go back to what you were saying about, deciding to go just take a day or a weekend to yourself. Like, I'm having that same conversation right now. My birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, so it's like, what do I want to do? And I'm like, really? I just want to go be at a hotel by myself overnight, get a massage, just have some quiet time, not have to worry about anything. I even told my husband, I'm like, listen, the weekend of my birthday, I don't care what you have to do, but figure it out. I don't want to see any kids. And I almost don't want to see you. I just want to be by myself. But I also know the minute that I check into that hotel room and try to get comfortable, I'm going to be missing my child and missing my husband and wishing they were there.
And that's how I am. Like, I know I'm going to be like, I'm not going to get any sleep. It's weird. So and just to kind of piggyback, so I have always, my mother laughs at me all the time because I am a planner. Like, in high school, I had mapped out, like, I'm going to be married by 23. I'm going to have these kids. I'm going to do this. And that ain't happened. I had some kids in my 20s, but I didn't get married until almost 2 years ago. 2016. So I'm just like, me and my husband, we met in college. So, dang, it's a long time ago. When I was 18, I met him. Freshman year. So we've been together for a long time. So now if he goes out of town or I'm out of town, we can't sleep. Like, we just can't sleep because we're far apart, and it's just like, And I'm be mad if I get to a hotel and can't even enjoy my sleep just because I need his body heat somewhere there. So I don't know, but I am going to do a mommy me time something because my kids I need a break from that.
We do. And we have to, we need those breaks in order to be able to show up the way that we need to for it. It's just hard to do it.
Right. So, with also celebrating women, what are some work goals that you have going on that you give yourself, or what are some, I don't want to say tasks because you don't have the time to get tasks what's going on right now, but some future accomplishments that you have for yourself as it relates to real estate? I know you're about to sit for your broker's license, so that's something big as well. But what are some mommy goals that you have, not mommy goals, work goals that you have for yourself?
So more immediately, my goal for the end of this year, I always like to try to double my productivity every year. In the past 3 years, I had been kind of stagnant. I was selling about 1 to 2 houses a month for the past 2 years. But so far this year, I'll be at 12 sales by the time we get into the first week of April. So it's like, without even halfway into the year, I've done what I usually do in 1 year. So that was my goal for this year, to just double my productivity. And it looks like that's going to happen. But more long term, I want to say within like the next 3 to 5 years, I want to be able to, as much as I enjoy the hustle and bustle of going out and showing houses and interacting with my clients on a daily basis, I want to be able to focus more on the back end of the business and developing other agents. So just trying to, get a team of good, well-rounded agents underneath so that way they can do the part that I'm doing now to build their own businesses up. And I'm just, serving as like their mentor and just making sure that the brokerage is running the way that it should. So like I have a background before I got into real estate. My background is in business management and operations. So that's like my thing. I'm very surprised that I'm actually enjoying and I'm doing so well at being face to face with my clients and taking them out every day, showing them houses and interacting with them the way I do, because I never would have seen myself as that type of person. I was always like, nope, I want to be behind the scenes, make the stuff work. I don't have to talk and see people every day. But what do they say? When you try to make your own plan, God just sit back and laugh at you like, okay, like, I'm gonna show you what it is that you need to be doing. So yeah, ultimately, I just want to be able to take a step back from this part of the business and just give back to other agents, so that way they can get to this point where they're able to create, generational wealth for their family and be able to live the way they want to live and not have to experience, some of the things that we experienced when we were working our jobs.
Right. Will you stay with hiring just women, or will you branch out to hire males as well?
So we actually do have 4 male agents that are associated with us. So we're women owned and operated. We have 24 agents right now. Again, only 4 of them are men. This is primarily comprised of young women, but it's not that we don't, want men to affiliate with us. It's just right now women are just really doing their thing, specifically in the real estate industry. Like it's known as a white male dominated industry, but lately Black women, we're just taking over everything.
Yes, that's true. Yes, women, we are just natural go-getters. We are.
And it's our time. It's our time.
Yeah.
Like
that is good. Is it hard getting licensed for real estate to do real estate?
It's not hard at all, actually. I didn't think it was hard, but I have also, like, my friends always joke on me. They say I'm a career student, like I'm always trying to go to school for something. And I guess that's some truth to that, because since graduating from high school, I've probably only not been going to school for something for a year or two. So it wasn't difficult for me, but for someone that, hasn't gone to school since high school or since they graduated from college and is, not used to, especially doing it online now with the pandemic, that may be a challenge for them. A lot of agents, they have to take the state test, 1 or 2, sometimes 3 or more times before they pass it. I didn't pass it my first time. I had to take it 2 times. It's not because the information is hard. It's more so one of those things where the test is just really not set up to be that successful the first go around. But I don't think it's hard. The stuff they teach you in the class, honestly, you don't even use it on a daily basis. You're doing business. So it's one of those things where if you're disciplined enough to pay attention in the class, pass the test to at least get your license, that's when the real work starts, being out in the field and just finding a good mentor to just show you the ropes.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. I was about to say, I thought about real estate. No, I've never thought about real estate. Now, I did tell my husband recently, like, you should get certified to be a home inspector or for appraisal. So he's like, you just want me to do this so we can just get more stuff. Maybe so, but I think that would be something, good for him, because both our backgrounds, we work with at-risk and high-risk youth and families, ironically. But so his job, he's around kids all the time. My job, of course, I'm around kids all the time. But I'm like, I can see you doing that, even if it's on the side or, something. So I'm trying to push him to do that. Or maybe he can be a real estate agency, but I don't think he don't want to do that. But definitely home inspection or home appraisal, I can definitely see him doing that.
And we need more minorities in those positions, especially appraisers. I don't know if you've been seeing the articles going around where, there's a huge gap when it comes to getting your home appraised and you are Black or brown.
Yes,
right?
I recently read something about that.
Yeah, it's a big issue. So we need more people in that field that look like us, that can vouch for us. And then again, it's like a perfect side hustle. I tell people all the time, whenever someone asks me, something about real estate, should I get into it? I'm like, definitely try it out. Like, even if you don't do it full time, it's a good side hustle. Like, you can sell 1 or 2 houses a year, and that's a couple $1,000s in your pocket for you to do whatever you want with it.
Mhm.
It's definitely a good side hustle. So yeah, tell your husband to really, look into it. That'll be good.
I sure will. So, in kind of wrapping up, what advice would you give yourself as a mom, one, and then also as a businesswoman, and then also advice for other women or moms?
My motto for 2021 was just to live in the moment. I'm kind of like you. Like, I've always wanted to just have like a really strict plan for everything, and I'm seeing now, because it's not just me, I was just by myself for so long by choice. Like, I just enjoyed just being single. Now that I'm married and I have a child, it's like, okay, I'm not in control of my whole life anymore. I can't do everything the way that I want to. So I realized that this year I was like, you know what, I'm just going to live in the moment and just enjoy life and just really try to relax. And I think that we need, as a mom, we all need to maybe try to implement that a little bit more in our lives, because like you said, we need those breaks. And especially now with how our lives have changed and we're home with our kids more often, which kind of sounds crazy. It's like, it's your kid, you should be home with them. But it's hard. It's hard. So really just trying to enjoy life, live in the moment, and spend as much quality time with your children, with your spouse, not just being in the same room or just being home with them at the same time, like really spending quality time. Because if this pandemic has not shown us anything else, it shows us that, life is really short, and it's a lot of stuff that we just have no control over that's happening right now. Anything from people dying from the pandemic, all of this systematic racism that's happening, and, we have black husbands, you have black sons. God forbid that they walk outside one day and never come back because of, the street violence or even violence. So we just have to just enjoy life in that moment, because you never know, when it won't be the same anymore.
Yes, that is my fear. And as having 3 sons, I'm like, oh my goodness, no. And my oldest, he's 10, and he's like, even down to he wants a phone. I'm like, yo, you don't go anywhere where you need a phone. Like, if you're not with me, you're with, they call my mom Sugar Mama. You with Sugar Mama. If you're not with Sugar Mama, you're with your father. If you're not with your father, where are you? No, you don't need a phone. I try to, and I can't protect him because kids are going to be kids. I mean, he has a tablet. His tablet does everything like a phone. They play video games. But I'm like, and by my kids being with me working in a nonprofit and we're a mental health agency, of course we work with some of the emotional, elevated youth. So they definitely ask me questions when a kid may be going through a crisis, having a tantrum, and they're seeing it firsthand. But I also include them with my work stuff where you're going to engage in a youth group, because I need you to learn these positive coping skills and these social skills and communication, because when you get in middle school, high school, I'm not going to be there. So it's not going to be where, well, let me go to my mother's office. My 5-year-old, don't let somebody go off in here, or not that a lot of our kids go off, but don't let somebody just have a bad day. He's coming to get me because he's trying to figure out, what, like, I'm not used to this. What is going on? Can you go talk to them? And he'll ask me like, Mommy, can you go get him because he did blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, y'all don't see none of these other staff in here, and y'all just come to me. So I definitely I'm like, So, this pandemic and then the climate of our world, and it is definitely scary.
It's scary.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
I just want to say, kudos to you for your nonprofit and everything that you're doing with the youth. Just to piggyback off of what we were just saying, it's just so much going on today. Like, you know, there was stuff going on when we were younger, but nothing like what these kids have to go through. And like, even like my husband in his profession, he works with kids as well. And like some of the stories that he comes home telling me, I'm just like, I thought stuff like that only happened in movies, but these kids are really out like raising themselves. Like, you know, their parents are, you know, addicted to all kinds of substances or just absent from their homes. And it's just sad to see what they're going through. So for you to, you know, have your nonprofit and really, you know, trying to give back and help the youth, that's like really commendable. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because we need more people like that. Because without people like you, I just can't imagine what this world would look like once these kids get older with no direction.
Easy. A crazy world. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. We need more organizations that really care and give back. I talk about this with so I'm also a social worker with my social worker friends, and I'm like, it's a lot of agencies out here, but it's a lot of agencies that's just in it for the money, truth be told, and not really providing that quality over quantity in a sense. Or if it's not going to bring me a couple dollars, I don't want to do it, or I'm only doing this because I can keep all the money tight or deal. And I had, you know, sometimes just really sit back and say, you know, I'm very blessed with Diamonds on the Rise because I've humbled myself in starting a business, because I didn't go in with it, oh, I'm trying to get rich. I went in with, first of all, I didn't even want to be an entrepreneur, truth be told. My mom wanted me to like, this was not my thing. My thing was, and I think people who really know me know, like, yeah, this is you. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a therapist. Y'all can just tell me about y'all problems. I just want to know y'all stuff. So that was my whole thing. Like, just talk to me. But then one day in grad school, my mom was like, oh, I was watching Oprah. You should start a nonprofit. And I was like, no. And then one day I was in class, and I was bored a little bit. And I was like, all right, came up with my name, logo, motto, whole thing, just sitting in class. And I was like, I haven't started a nonprofit. And I just started a nonprofit. And then I do have days where I'm like, yo, I quit. I'm about to fire everybody. And then I just got to get myself back and be like, Elisa, come on now. But I didn't think I would be an entrepreneur. So now I look at it as definitely generational wealth, definitely generational business for, you know, my kids. I asked them, like, y'all think y'all want to take over? And of course they like, take over doing what? And I'm just like, okay, when y'all get older, y'all know a little bit more what I'm doing in this office. But one of y'all gonna run this business, period. And then, you know, just kind of loop them in. But I definitely thank you so much for coming on to talk.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your session today. I really appreciate you thinking about me. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me on Instagram at Alonna Monet or Alonna Sells Homes. On Facebook, you can find me at Alonna Gordon Sells Homes. I will be launching a YouTube channel soon, but as of right now, Facebook, Instagram, and you'll also be able to find my phone number and email address there as well.
Oh, wow, a YouTube channel. That's good. What's going to be on your YouTube channel?
So I'm working with a marketing team right now. We're thinking about doing some webinars for first-time home buyers, of course, a podcast. I just really don't like being in front of the camera, so this is something that I'm really going to have to pray about and work on it.
Oh, yes, I definitely understand. Even with my current podcast, my friends and people who listen are like, Elisa, can you come on? You have all this stuff. You have all these ideas. We call you for stuff, and I just don't. If I did not have to get on social media for business, I probably wouldn't really be putting anything out there. So I definitely understand the whole don't want to be in front of the camera and all that. Sometimes I'm like, they don't want to hear me talk, but you should see.
I've just started warming up to doing stories on my Instagram more often because that never used to happen. So I've been trying to do at least one a week, and then I'll graduate there.
Yes, that's good. Well, definitely thank you for coming on. And anybody out there looking to buy a house or have questions, please definitely reach out to Alonna.
Thank you so much.